Hello, I'm Mike, the Glampsite builder here in Honey Grove, Texas. Today what I want to talk about is the biggest mistakes I made at the beginning when I was going to build my park. And I'm a contractor, I've been doing this stuff for a long time, so I want to share how things unfolded for me and the mistake that I made. So I am going to turn this camera around and describe the thing that I should have bought and the thing that I should have held off on. Okay, what I want to compare is comparing these two items. One is an Airstream that I bought for $18,000, and I ended up gutting the whole thing and redoing the whole thing on the inside. To be honest, I probably paid a little more than I should have for it because I ended up gutting the whole thing. But anyways, this is a electric UTV, or side-by-side, whatever you want to call it, that we have here at the park. I want to point out this is electric. I'm happy with it, haven't had any issues, and the problem I was worried about is if I had one that was a gas engine and people are cruising around here trying to work on cleaning units and stuff, and they're listening to a loud engine driving around the park, I didn't think would be cool. So this is electric. So I was so excited when I bought this land. I got 5 acres of land here, a lot of nice trees, been working on it for 2 years. But I was so excited when I bought the property, and I did have some money in my pocket, and I was ready to go to town. And I ended up buying this Airstream because I was so excited, and it sat in my driveway for over a year. It ended up, sucking up some money, but I'm into the Airstream for a total of about $35,000. But that $35,000 was sitting in my driveway for over a year. This, on the other hand, when I started, I said, well, I don't know. I want to keep my money to build cool things and add things to the park. I don't think I have that in the budget right now to get a UTV. So we ended up holding off on buying this UTV while I was spending a lot of money. Money was flying out the window purchasing stuff for this park. I always felt like I don't have enough money to go buy that right now. But what I realized after working here for about a year, picture walking around this whole park all the time, like you can't even see the workshop that's back behind those trees and so on. Oh geez, I need to go get a hammer. And you gotta walk over to the storage and okay, we're working on the bathroom today. Oh geez, I gotta go back to the shop and get this, that, and the other. And the same thing goes in the very back. So you find yourself putting in many steps in a day, which is healthy, which is good for you. But I just want to point out that make sure that you use your money wisely, because I feel like this money that I spent on the Airstream, I only paid like $7,000 for this thing brand new because it was a model that had been sitting. And when I got this thing, I realized, wow, I have been wasting so much time walking around this whole park, putting, this is typically what it looks like, putting junk in the back, now that I can go anywhere in the park. So the mistake of the day was, didn't need to spend this kind of money in the beginning, especially since it just sat in my driveway. And this should have been the very first thing I bought, because it would enable me to cruise around and check things out and put in more time working and accomplishing things than I did with walking around and wasting time. So watch what you buy. Buy your tools first. So now I'm going to talk about another mistake I made at the beginning of the job. Not planning for the right tools and power. So this is one of the first things I should have purchased. I waited a little longer than I needed. These Honda generators are quiet and they're awesome. They don't provide the power that you might need if you want to run 2 or 3 skill saws and a big saw and all that, but for small stuff, these are great and they're quiet. I highly recommend everybody has one. You can buy them used, but they're pretty popular. I want to say you can get them in the 700, 800 for a nice newer one. But these things are quiet, they work well, they start easy. However, one of my carpenters has the big generator. I recommend that you get a big generator, and you can buy them used for $1,000 or less even, that'll power skill saws. So I recommend a quiet Honda, one that I should have bought in the beginning, and then buy a good used generator. You're going to need it at your site if you don't already have power there. Those are some things that I should have purchased right in the beginning, which I didn't. So passing it on to you guys. Okay guys, this one's hard for me to admit since I'm a general contractor and I build custom homes, and I tell people all the time, you know, pay attention to what the sun's doing and build your house accordingly. For example, I don't like telling people here in Texas to have the back of your house south facing, and you're going to have window coverings because of the sun all day long. So I got carried away and, oh, I want my tent to look out at, you know, look out at a view, and this is how I want to position it. Well, I wish I would have turned it, because this front porch right now, see how nice and inviting and shaded it is? Well, it looks like that now because I'm at 10 something in the morning. However, what I didn't pay attention to is the direct sunlight at 3 o'clock just pounding that front porch. So when you're setting stuff up, think about it. Think about, oh, I'm going to have people sit here. Well, are they going to be sitting in the sun? Are they going to have shade? Are they going to have a view? Or are they going to be staring at a wall? So look at, change it up by coming up with some cool items to add and one-of-a-kind structures and so on. But pay attention to where you're facing, because right now, I wish I would have had this turned so that in the late afternoon, this porch is shaded, not shaded in the morning. So another mistake I made. Pay attention to the sun and what the terrain is doing, and just don't set it up to look pretty, set it up to be functional. Okay, another mistake that I made. This soil is really good soil. But be aware when you grade, like when I grade for a house, it's usually a flat level lot. But when we graded here, you can see some of this, we just threw this rock back there for right now, but you can see some of this dirt starting to erode and drain into the rocks. So that is what you call erosion. So I had the skid steer cleaning stuff up, clearing areas, and he left, and I didn't have the rock put down right away. So this whole area was exposed dirt before, and when it rained, I had a whole layer of dirt, and you can still see some of it there. So in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be bringing in more truckloads of dirt, but watch creating new erosion areas. So an example is this stuff over here has been sitting like this with vegetation and so on. It's fine. This here has been graded. It's not fine, and we didn't have that much rock to totally fix it up correctly. So again, that's another mistake I made. Pay attention to your grading, and are you exposing elements that are going to get worse when the weather hits? So really think it through. Just don't look at everything when it's, you know, nice and bright out and a dry day. Check out your camp when it's pouring rain and see where the water goes. So Erosion. Watch when you're grading and doing things at your park, and don't expect to leave all the dirt exposed and some big storm starts washing things away. Another mistake I made was, as soon as I bought the property, I should have started looking into my electrical panels. We have a 200 amp panel here, which is standard. I can get off the shelf. Doesn't cost that much. Get it pretty quick. However, what I wanted to put here was like an 800 amp, can't remember exactly, I think it was 800 amp electric panel. Now this happened during COVID, but the panel I wanted not only was ridiculously high in price, $7,000, they said it was going to take 10 to 12 months to get it. So the mistake I made was, as soon as I got my property, I should have been looking into my electric panel, because one of these days I'm going to have to take this out and in phase 2 probably put a bigger electric panel. Wish I would have had the right one from the beginning. So now I'm going to pay labor twice. So that is another mistake I made. So look at some of the items that you're going to need at your park, and is it going to take days to get, weeks to get, months to get? Make sure you check it out. So another mistake, look at products and things that you need that may take a long time so that it doesn't stop you from opening your park.